All right, hey everybody, welcome to our Monday night stream. It's Tiger Talks episode 2. I'm your host, Tiger Hollywood, and we've got my wonderful friend Callie here with me. I'm like pointing to her as though she's actually right here, which makes no sense because she's not, but that's all right. How you doing, Callie?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I am doing so good, so good, so good. Welcome everybody in the chat. Thanks for coming out on Monday night. We don't usually do a stream on Monday night, so I'm glad to have you all here. I'll give you a little bit of background on how I know Callie, and then Callie, I'll let you do a little introduction of yourself, because I don't want to speak completely for you. But I've known you since I don't know, a long time. A long time. You're essentially part of my extended family at this point. I've known you that long, and you've always been one of my favorite people. When you entered into my extended family's friend group, I was like, "That's a friend right there." I was like, "This girl's pretty cool." And we've also, I think, found over we have a lot of similar interests and points of view on things, which I think is very fascinating because we're not super far apart in age, but we're not super close in age either. But even so that's my little background on you. But I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself to everyone we've got in chat. So go right ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name's Callie, or Cal. As Tiger said, we've been in each other's lives for a long time. I think I became a part of the extended family like 9 years ago, going on 10. It's a long time. Yeah, we both love comic books and Star Wars. We love cool things. We're
Yeah,
cool people.
we are cool people. That's true.
We're cool people.
There's nothing cooler than saying you're cool. Also, hi there, Undo Polaris, and I'm just gonna call you DS because I disc. Let's go with that. Anyway,
Dark Sonic.
there we go, Dark Sonic. There we go. I'll get there. Welcome to the Tiger Hollywood stream. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I did that, even though I think you were still talking, though, didn't I? I don't know. That's gonna
No, it's
happen.
pretty much done.
That's
My
gonna
name is
happen.
Callie, and I'm cool. That's it.
That's right. That's right. uh, thanks for the follow there, Under Polaris. I just realized I don't have my alert set up on the Tiger Talks stream because this is only the second one we've done, and I'm really good at streaming. So there we go. Hey, Disco Liz.
You got it, Fly Lily. I will keep him in check.
That's right. Okay, so we talked a little bit before the stream, but we kept it to a minimum because I didn't want to ruin anything before the stream because that seemed like a bad idea. But so I did tell you that we were gonna. So for those of you in the chat that maybe are familiar with it, of a show that's no longer airs but used to air called Inside the Actors Studio, and it was hosted by James Lipton, and he would always finish it with his version of the Bernard Pivot questionnaire. So I believe that the best way to do well in anything is to steal from people who are better at it than you, and he is much better at any type of interviewing than I could ever be. However, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Instead of saying for the end, we're going to do it at the beginning because I want to, and especially I'm going to do what I want. So take that, James Lipton, although I think he's dead, so maybe I feel bad about saying that now. I don't know. Is he dead? I don't know. Someone in chat looked it up because I don't know if he's still alive or not.
I think he might be.
I think he might be dead. Yeah.
I think they did a whole thing. Yeah, he's dead.
He's dead? All right, cool. I mean, that's not cool. That's horrible. Okay. All right. So So it's interesting. I didn't know this until I looked up the questionnaire earlier because I could only remember a couple of the questions off of it. But his questionnaire is slightly different than Bernard Pivot's original questionnaire. So we're going to do James Lipton's. So for anyone in the chat that's like a Bernard Pivot biographer or some crap like that, you're like, those aren't the questions. Be like, I'm doing the James Lipton ones. Okay. So are you ready? And if any of these are offensive, I don't know what to tell you. I didn't make it. So.
I think I'm ready.
Okay. Yeah. All right. What is your favorite word?
Fuck.
Oh, that's okay. All right.
I think
Right
that's
after
an
that,
answer
I like
to
it.
another question in
It
the
is, but
future, but yeah.
it can be the answer to multiple questions. What is your least favorite word?
I love so many words. This question is offensive to me. I love all words.
You love all words. All right. I'm gonna put none. How about that? I'll put none.
None of that
Or
works.
maybe not applicable is more appropriate.
Yeah, like
I'm keeping notes. If you see me like looking down writings, because
you're
I'll be like taking
well,
notes. Yeah.
a lot of people don't like the word moist. I don't
Yeah,
mind the word
I don't get
moist.
that. It doesn't bother me either.
It
That's
makes me think
weird,
of
right?
cakes and desserts and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think of food too when someone says moist. I'm like, but I
Yeah.
like a nice moist brownie. Get out of here. That's the best. 6, 7, 8, 10. I agree with you. I don't have a problem with it. Okay. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally? So you can take that in any direction you choose to take it within that. But
Turns me on.
yeah.
I guess like really good energy, like when you're really connecting
Okay.
with something and you feel like really jazzed and
All
excited about
right.
it.
I get it. I'm
Yeah.
down. I'm down.
Mhm. Down the clown.
Yep. I'm picking up on what you're putting down. Don't worry.
Dark Sonic doesn't like the word girthy.
Gert, no.
Sorry.
I don't know. I'm kind of with you. Like there's only one word that I don't like, but I wouldn't say it. Does that make sense? Like I won't say the word because I don't like it.
Is
Because
it a bad word?
yeah. It's like
Is it the C word?
no, I'll say that one. I'll say that
Okay.
one in the right context. I'll say that one. No, no, you probably it's. I'm sure someone knows. It's a word
Oh,
that starts with an
okay.
N.
I'm
You
on the same
know?
page. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Words like that.
I won't
Yeah,
say
I don't
that
like
word.
those words.
And
Oh, yeah.
it's for no other. And honestly, it's for no other reason than like I just it carries far too much weight. That particular word.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. There's no way. All right, number 4. What turns you off?
Ugh. Um, I guess pig-headedness.
Pig-headedness. All right, that's a good
Being
one.
rude and ugh. Are you answering these as well?
I'm not, but I can if you want me to.
Yeah, that'd be great if you could.
Okay, then I'll go back in time. Well, my favorite word is there's no reason that it's my favorite word, but maritime. So
Maritime.
yeah, maritime. I just like the way it sounds.
Yeah.
It never comes up in casual conversation.
Never.
No. And there's a reason why behind it is because in Star Trek Generations, the movie, at the beginning of it, they're doing like this ceremony thing on the holodeck on like an old like British like naval ship. And at one point, I think Captain Picard says, "In grand maritime tradition," and I'm like, "That's the only time you could use the word maritime." And
Honestly.
so I love that word. Least favorite word, we covered that. For anyone in the chat who hasn't picked up on it, it's a word that starts with an N. Okay.
Or an
What
R.
or yeah. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, emotionally? Um, I just openness, I guess. About I don't like when people are closed off. So I guess that's my turn off would then be someone who's closed off. Like, just I'm not the most emotional guy, so I don't necessarily mean like open emotionally, but I mean open to new things, new ideas.
Oh
Be
yeah,
open. Just be
definitely.
open. So then 4 would be people that are closed off, which I guess is not that dissimilar from pigheadedness. So
Yeah,
um,
like narrow-minded.
yeah. Okay. You technically already answered this one, but what is your favorite curse word?
Fuck, it's so
Yeah, it's
great.
a good word.
It's like a seasoning of
It's a good word.
language. It's a
My
great word.
favorite curse word. Well, it's funny. I guess it's technically a curse word, but like I don't really consider it to be one. But it's probably because I use it so often. That's damn. I say damn like all the time.
Oh damn.
But I don't know
That's
if
great.
I don't know if I really consider it a curse word. I don't know. Chat. What do y'all think? You all consider damn to be a curse word? Yeah, and then Riker dropped Worf in the ocean. That's right. Does blasphemy count? I guess so. Yeah, it's like a very mild curse word, right? Nougat.
Very
Yeah,
mild.
nougat. Mother Hubbard. I do say Mother
Oh,
Hubbard a lot, but that's
Dark Sonic says it's 100% cursed.
It's the okay. All right, we'll go with it then. I guess that's
You know what?
fine.
When I was training people at work, I had really had to watch my language. I cuss a lot at work because
Mm,
I'm so stressed out. One
mm.
is, you know, I've started saying shiitake mushrooms.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Oh, shiitake. And it's
I like that.
great. I definitely recommend it.
I say Mother Hubbard a lot, and I'll say oh sugar. I'll say that.
Oh, sugar.
Yeah, that's a
Oh,
good
sugar,
one.
honey, iced tea.
Yeah. Uh, all right. Number 6. What sound or noise do you love?
Ooh, rain on a tin roof.
Ooh, rain on a tin roof. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Mine is I hang on. Let me finish.
Are
So I
you
can't.
really taking notes?
Oh yeah, yeah. I keep it like so. Like doing like I did it with the first one with Liz. So I'm keeping like a record of all these Tiger talks.
Oh,
So
oh, Star Wars
which
notebook.
which is weird because they're also in video.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like things written down.
Yeah.
So
Same. Much more direct. You kind of have to scroll through the video to get to the.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so like
Not scroll.
this is like a big like bullet point thing of like oh yeah
Yeah.
because sometimes someone will say something interesting or they'll say it in a way you've never thought of before and you're like oh I want to remember that and if I write it down I'll remember it forever.
I am so sorry to disappoint you.
No, I'm telling you, you're just gonna like good stuff will happen. Like you'd be surprised. It's the beauty of like long form conversations. Is like the stuff that you see. You're like, I said that. Like, what me?
Me?
My favorite sound or noise is this is so nerdy, but I love the sound of a lightsaber turning on. That snap hiss. I love that sound. Like that sound gets me like that sound turns me on right there. It's like yeah, that's what's up. What number 7? What sound or noise do you hate?
You know, like when you let a balloon go and it makes that like farty, flappy noise. It's like comical, but like painful because it's so
Yeah,
drawn
I
out.
do.
I
Yeah,
hate it. Hate it so much.
that's a good one. So
Yeah.
that what would I call it? Balloon squeal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Balloon
Or
squeal.
sound of people at work talking to me.
Ooh,
So painful.
that one's very specific. I like that.
Yeah.
Balloon squeal slash people at work. Yeah, I feel that one sometimes, especially when it's your boss. Anyway,
Oh my God.
right? It's like,
Anyway.
what is it about like every boss? And like, I hope that like whenever I've had people that report to me, I hope they don't. I'm sure they do because like I just feel like this is just a natural thing to feel this way about your boss. But I hope that they're not like, oh, he's so terrible. But like, I swear, every boss, like, no matter how much I liked them, I was like, oh my God, they're so terrible. There's something
Please,
about it, right?
like, yeah, 100%.
Okay. Mine is I cannot stand, and it's in a very specific instance that I hate it. I hate it. I hate it when you're sitting at a at like a red light and it turns green, and then the first 3 seconds, someone like gives it a little that horn honk. It's everything I can do in my power to not put my car in park, get out, grab my umbrella, and just start bashing their car with an umbrella. I hate it so very much. It makes me. I'm not a violent guy. I'm a pacifist. It makes me
Yeah,
violently angry to hear that. Yeah. Yeah, go on
100%.
Britney Spears. That's what's up, Disco Liz. You know what I'm talking about.
Or like when it turns green and like the car like next to you puts it in gear and squeals and they're like racing out of
Oh
there.
my god.
I'm like,
Like who are you showing
dude,
off for,
chill.
pal?
Yeah, like we have more lights ahead of us
Yeah,
than
right. Exactly.
this.
That's what I think when I see. Like, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't. I like. I tend to go at least like a little over the speed limit. I'm not gonna lie, but like when I see someone like flying like in a 40, going like 60, I'm like, you're not gonna get there. And then you pull up next to them at the next light, and I'm like, do you see how pointless it was for you to go that fast?
Oh my God. Or when people like are determined to pass you and then they end up
Yeah.
having to stop at a red light and you're
Yep.
like, dude, you're one car ahead. You're
Like
one car ahead. Was it
it's
worth
like
it?
I remember there being a thing I read that unless you were going double whatever the posted speed limit is, you're not going to make up that much. Like, the time that you gain is so negligible because of, like, you have to stop for lights and you have to, or sometimes, like, you get behind another car or whatever it might be. For that instance, unless you're able to consistently go double whatever the posted speed limit is, you're not really going to gain that much time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that car horn honk. All right, number 8. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Ooh. I have several actually.
Name them.
I'd love to be a photographer for Nat Geo,
Nice.
and I would love to be like a screenwriter or like an
Ooh.
editor for
Ooh.
scripts.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'd be so fun. And I think one day when I'm like much more confident and stable and like chill with my life, like when I'm older,
Yeah, yeah.
I'd like to like get into a little bit of acting. Nothing
I could see
hardcore, but
that.
like have fun with some people and pretend. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
I could see that. I could definitely see you doing
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
What about you?
Um, um, so many. The main ones that I think about are being a novel writer, a la Stephen King style.
Yeah.
Or if I could go back to, if I mean I can, if I had the drive to go back to school and do everything all over again, I would study film. That's what I would do. I love movies. I
Yeah.
love the way movies are made, and especially editing them. I love to edit video and stuff like that. Like, I don't find it, like, when I edit streams, like upload them to YouTube or anything like that. Like, I love editing. It's one of my favorite things to do.
It's awesome.
That's what I would go back and that's what I'd like to
Yeah.
do. All right, number 9. What profession would you not like to do?
My current one?
All right. I
No.
kind of had a feeling you might say that.
Honestly, my current one isn't that bad. 100%. I would hate to be a telemarketer, and I know because I
Ooh.
was one for a week, and it
You
sucked.
what? Where were you a telemarketer for?
I was in Orlando, and I was desperate for a job to pay
Sure.
rent.
Yeah.
Shout out under Polaris. We were roommates, and he saved my ass
Okay.
because he helped me
Okay.
pay rent.
That's what's up
But
under Polaris.
I was like, desperate, so accepted any gig I could get,
Sure,
and it
sure.
was
I've
like
been there.
this
Yeah.
super sketchy place, and it was like the company rented out a, a garage,
Mm-hmm.
like a storage garage,
Okay.
and they like took like the flooring, car flooring, like
Yes.
they stapled it to the offices for us sound buffers, and because each little office had a phone,
Yeah.
and we would have to call and like trick old people into scheduling an appointment for Miracle
Oh.
Ear. It was
Oh
so
my god.
awful.
That
The
sounds
skeeviest
awful.
thing I've ever witnessed. And like right in the middle of the garage slash office,
Yeah.
um, the bosses would sit, and like the owner of the company, I turned around and I watched her open up, and I will not name which party, but opened up the website of a very prominent political party and started making huge donations
What?
in the middle of work, dude. And I was like, I gotta get out of here. This is
Oh my
nuts.
god.
Yeah, it was super sketchy. That's why I was only
There for
there
a
for a week.
week?
Yeah, because it's
That's
so definitely
that's
not
pretty
that.
rough. No.
And
Mm.
I couldn't do like waitressing. Props to waitresses, man. They are champions of the
I've
world.
done table waiting. It's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
Well, the actual job isn't fun. Some of the people you get to meet,
Yeah.
they're some of the craziest people I've ever met in my life. They're fun,
Mhm.
especially like cooks in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, I bet.
It's some interesting stuff. Um, So what I and I like to do. I mean, there's not. I mean, it all is on a sliding scale, of course. Like, sometimes if you need money, I've done lots of jobs that I hated, like when I was a waiter and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Something I wouldn't do. I'm like running through. I'm like, no, I'd do that. No, I'd do that. No, I'd do that. No, I'd do that.
If it pays enough, yes, I will do
Yeah, if
that.
it paid enough, I'm like, yeah, fuck, I'll do it. Um,
Ooh, what about I would never like work on the bomb squad?
oh, I'd do it.
You would do that?
Yeah, why not? I'm afraid of nothing. I'll do it. I mean, I'm trained to do it, right? I'm not just doing it like
Yeah, you'll
today.
no, you'll be trained. You'll be
Here's a
trained.
pair of wire cutters. Figure it out. Be like, oh no. No, I'd do it.
What
Oh,
about
okay.
working at
No,
the landfill?
I do that too. I know what I wouldn't do. I would not want to be a like a wildfire firefighter.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to like fight fires out there. Like, cause in my head, I'm dead immediately. Like, I'm like, there's no way. Like, I know that I like, cause I would be like out there and I would see like a squirrel. Like, I have to save that squirrel, and then I would immediately be engulfed in flames. That
See,
I
I would
don't. I
totally do that.
No, I don't think I wouldn't do that. I will.
I mean,
I've always wanted to work like one of the fire watch towers, where you're just in the tower and you're like, "There's a fire over there." Like that, I would do. But I don't want to be out there with like a hose or bucket or whatever the hell it is. Oh yeah,
right.
military is another one, Claire. That's good in chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, military. Mm-mm. If I had to go in the military, I'd be like, you need to put me in the Air Force because I'm not doing any of the others. Not gonna
Yeah, I guess I'm
happen.
gonna go live in another country now because I'm
Right?
not doing.
Peace out. All right, last question of of Mr. Pivo. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Like, gonna make me cry.
I'm gonna make you cry.
The White Claw is hitting.
Oh, oh, right.
No, I guess I'd want to hear him say like, "You did your best and you earned it."
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. What about you?
Hang on, let me finish writing.
Oh, okay. Excuse me.
It's okay. I can't. I have trouble like writing and talking at the same time. Okay. I'm really bad. I'm really bad at tasks that require the use of my hands and for me to talk. I can't, which is funny because I stream, so I guess it's different. I guess I just can't write and talk. It's very difficult for me to do. That's why I'm bad on the phone. If heaven is what I want to get God say when I reach the pearly gates, I immediately go for like a joke, and I would want him to be like, "I'm just as surprised as you." That's what I want to hear him say. Like, "I'm just as surprised." Be like, "Cool."
That's great.
That's what
That's
I'd want to
good.
hear. That's what I want to hear. Well, okay, so that's the end of so that was fun. Thanks for doing that. I like that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked a little bit before. The thought of eternal life, regardless of quality, is existentially horrifying to me. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Clara. I'm with you on that, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it seems odd to me. I don't like the idea of it. Honestly, I'd be like, nah. How about nah?
I don't know. I'm with it. I feel like I'm such
Yeah.
a slow like learner in life when it comes to life lessons
Oh,
that I would appreciate more time to fully
oh,
like, you know,
I never thought of it like that.
I just feel like the amount of not to get too deep or anything, but
You
the
can
amount of
get as deep
like
as you want. Get as deep as
all
you
right,
want.
That's what she
putting my
said.
boots on
There
because
we go.
we're getting in this sucker.
Okay.
I just feel like our life expectancy, like what, 100 years?
I mean, a
That is
max.
not enough time for me. I'm such a slow learner, dude.
Hmm.
I cannot possibly learn all my life lessons in time before I gotta go.
I've
I'd
never.
appreciate the extra backup time.
I've never thought of it like that, honestly. Like so for me, like I don't believe in like an afterlife. I'm all for being proven wrong when I die. But I don't really believe, and I think that if there is one, it's something that we can't particularly like really imagine very well. So, and I don't, but I've never thought of it like that. Like, it would be all that extra time to continue to learn different things, which is a very interesting way of looking at it that I like. I like that.
See, you can write that down.
I am, actually.
I did the thing.
See, look at that. See, and you thought that you wouldn't. You were wrong.
I know.
That's what these talks are gonna do for people everywhere.
Hey, if you need to telemarket your stuff, I got you.
Okay. So beforehand, we had talked about that we were gonna. Oh crap, my pen. That we were gonna chat some about Star Wars, which I am always so happy to do. So why don't so all right, so let me ask you this. Okay, so and all the Star Wars media, movies, animated shows, and live action shows and whatnot. Do you have a favorite specific storyline or a specific favorite character, or are they different? Like, is the favorite character maybe not necessarily in your favorite storyline? Like, do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, my favorite storyline is the Clone Wars, the
Okay.
3D animated. I've never seen the 2D animated, but I want
Oh,
to
it's
because it's by
good.
the same director as Samurai Jack, I think.
Yep. Yep. Gendy Tartakovsky.
Yeah. But I love the Clone Wars. I think it's amazing. It's what, 5, 6, 7 seasons long?
7, I
Six,
think. Yeah.
7?
Because they did the 7th. They did a Disney Plus exclusive 7th one, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I love that because I feel like it adds this totally new perspective to a story that we've heard and seen like 100 times.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and it answers questions that like I did not know that I had. And I really appreciate that. Like being taken by surprise in Star Wars is
Sure.
like, you know, a pretty great feat. So that's my favorite. As far as favorite characters go, I love Ahsoka.
So good, solid.
I love Luke. I mean, he's just the best.
I'm with you on that. I love
I
Luke
love
too.
Luke. He's
I love Luke
amazing.
too.
Yeah, he's great. What about you?
Um, first, something I thought of when you said the Clone Wars. It's funny that you say that because I can remember being a kid and watching A New Hope. Yeah, it's in A New Hope where Leia says it to in her hologram recording to Obi-Wan. You served my father in the Clone Wars, and I remember that even as a kid, like that like little line. I was like, what are the Clone Wars? Like, what's
Yeah.
that? Like, can I hear more about that? That sounds insane. And then later in it, Luke says, "My father didn't fight in the Clone Wars. He was a navigator on a spice freighter." And then Obi-Wan's like, "That's a lie. Your uncle lied to you. He was a Jedi Knight like me." Um, and I remember I was like, "There's that Clone Wars. Like, what?" And I was like, "It's this thing where you're like, as a kid, my head would like swirl. Like, what are the Clone Wars? Like, what does that mean?" And so I really like. I also really like the Clone Wars animated shows because it finally was like I'm finally getting those answers, which were nothing like what I thought of as a kid at all.
Oh, what'd
Um,
you think they were?
I honestly, so I thought that it was. I thought that the Clone Wars would be all these Jedi fighting clones of themselves. So like Obi-Wan was fighting a cloned Obi-Wan. And
Oh,
then
right.
so it was like the Emperor had that's what that's what I thought. I thought the Emperor had like somehow created clones of like these Jedi Knights or and other people and it was them fighting copies of themselves. That's what I thought they were when I was like 10.
Yeah.
And I was very wrong. But
I
my
mean, that's not a bad thought though. I mean, that's very terrifying.
yeah, it's a neat idea, right? I think so.
Yeah.
And they kind of did. I mean, there was a book series that kind of did something kind of like that, but not exactly. But yeah, Obi-Wan, Obi-2, Obi-3,
That's amazing.
right?
That's amazing.
But my favorite storyline. It's not canon anymore, but the very first Knights of the Old Republic video game I thought had a fantastic story. It was very Star Wars formulaic, but I thought it was really interesting because it shows not only an arc of redemption for the main character that you play, but it also showed an arc of complete downfall for like the main villain, which I thought was really interesting to see because they start out as essentially a master. Well, they started as friends, then they moved to Sith Master and Apprentice, and then your character that you take control of in the game eventually, like in the game when you play him, he's no longer part of the Sith. He's had his memory erased and stuff. Spoiler alert for Knights of the Republic, a game that came out 15 years ago. Had his memory erased, and so now he's just a regular Jedi again, and so on and so forth. But then when he learns the truth, it's like you, the player, you have the choice of going back and becoming evil again, or staying good, and and everything. But it's the
Yeah.
canon ending is that he becomes good again. And so it's this really interesting showing for the character you play, this path of both falling but then redeeming yourself, which is very Star Wars. But then it's also showing the other character that was your character's friend, how he never returns back to the good side. He stays evil all the way to the end. And so it's also showing this path that's complete. And seeing those two juxtaposed against each other in the same thing was very interesting to me, because
Yeah.
that's something that I don't think Star Wars has really done. There's a lot of like fall and redemption, or it's like, oh no, they've just always been evil. Like the Emperor, it's like,
Right.
was he ever good? I don't think so. Um, so I thought that was really, I thought that was interesting, and I liked that
Yeah.
game a lot. My favorite character when I was younger, hands down, my favorite character was Darth Vader, without a doubt. When I was like a kid. Um,
Same.
well, the reason why is because he's just so cool.
He's
Um,
so freaking
right, he's
cool.
so
And
cool. I mean, he's got the best theme music. So I very much like Darth Vader, but I also, as a kid, I was always attracted to heroes. So I loved Luke Skywalker when I was a little kid too. And like I can remember the first time I was like, that's his dad. That doesn't make any sense. And I was like, it doesn't make any sense at all. But as I've gotten older, my favorite character has shifted some. I still love Luke. And it's weird. I find like adults when they say their favorite character is Darth Vader, it doesn't bother me. But when they like idolize Darth Vader as an adult, I'm like, I think there's something wrong with you, because he's
yeah.
evil, right? Like he killed like 20 kids because he could.
Yeah.
Um,
Redemption though. Yeah, redemption.
well, no. He brings, but it's just, but they're not like, oh no, I love Anakin Skywalker. They're like, I love Darth Vader.
Darth
Like what? Like I
Vader.
love him in Empire Strikes Back when he cuts Luke's hand off. Like you like it when he cuts his own son's hand off? Like that's an odd thing to
Okay,
like.
fair enough. Fair
You know what I
enough.
mean? Like I think it's fine to think he's a cool character, because he is. He's undeniably cool and he's a badass. But I think idolizing him, that's where I'm like, I don't know about that. It makes sense for a kid too, because kids are naturally attracted to power, and Darth Vader has tons of power. But anyway, as I've gotten older, my favorite character has become Obi-Wan, because I see a
Yeah.
lot. Like when I was younger, I was like, oh, I'm totally Luke. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, I'm not Luke. I'm not. I'm definitely I'm definitely more like Obi-Wan Kenobi. So he's become my
Yeah.
favorite as I've gotten older.
He's
Yeah.
amazing. He's so great.
Yeah. I love his. He in many ways reminds me of other characters that I idolize a lot, where he's very steadfast, and he's very dedicated to what he chooses to believe in. Like he is what in the Clone Wars, like he, the only time he's tempted to really like go against the Jedi Order is for Empress Satine, because he loves her, right? Which is, heartbreaking story. It gets
I
me.
know.
It gets me. It gets me right here every time. But
Yeah.
it's the only time. Other than that, he is steadfast in that I believe in what the Jedi Order stands for. And I don't know, there's something special about that I don't think a
Yeah.
lot of characters always have. So, and it reminds me of like Superman and Spider-Man a lot. Like my personality type, I'm very attracted to that type of character. So
Right.
that one's mine.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree. He's fabulous. I love that we got to learn more about him and, his past
Mm.
and his love and then his ultimate choice to the Jedi Order. Fantastic.
It's a really good. That's one of my. I think that's my favorite like mini story arc from the Clone Wars TV
Yeah.
show. Is that one a lot? Yeah, it's a good one.
What's like the storyline or aspect of Star Wars that gets you like the most excited and you just want to know more about, even though you've probably read up on it 100 times? You're just like, whoa.
That's a good question. Um, I've always been interested in something I wish was explored a little bit more, was how even like during the time of the Galactic Republic, there are still planets that have slaves, and how they are able to exist outside of galactic, outside the Republic control. Like, it makes sense with the Empire, because the Emperor's probably like, I don't care if you have slaves. Like, I'm evil. Let's all have slaves. That's
Yeah.
probably what he's saying. Someone's going to clip that and be like, he said, let's all have slaves. Like, no, not me. The Emperor said that. Tiger Hollywood says no to slaves. So yeah. So, yeah, right. Get that. That's a good shirt. I say no to slaves. People are like, why do you got to put that on a shirt? Like, there's a lot of reasons. It's okay. But that's something I would be interested in to learn more of, is how, even during like the ultimate power of the Republic, were there still planets that were able to have slaves? Like, how do they exist outside that galactic control? Because I've never really understood that. It's like, did they just not care? Did they? I mean, they had to know. So why wasn't something done about it? You know, I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to learn more about that.
I mean, there's probably like a whole like political aspect to that too.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's great though. I actually really never considered that.
That's what I'm here for, Callie. That's what I'm here for. What about you? Are there any like side things, or so you're like, oh, they should do more about that?
Yes. I 100% need to know more about the like God embodiment of the three aspects of the Force,
Okay.
of good, bad, and neutral, like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Father, Daughter, and the Son. I forget
Yeah.
what they're
Yeah.
called. Something with an M.
Oh
But those
yeah. I don't remember either, but I know what you're talking
something
about.
gods,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, explored it a little bit in both Rebels and the Clone Wars.
Yep.
And I find it so fascinating. Like, I'm like, there's a whole ass ancient lore and existence to the Force that we know like only like the tiniest little fraction about. And I'm sure nobody has like, well, actually, maybe somebody did write an actual guideline to the Force and a history on it, but it's so fascinating to me.
Yeah. There is a book called The Jedi Path, or The Path of the Jedi, and it's written like it's a handbook, but it has like, in the margins it has like writing by like Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And I've always wanted to buy a copy of one, and I never have, because I forget things real quick. Like, I forgot that book existed until right now. But yeah, and I wonder if it goes to Links and Whispers. Okay, thanks, Clara. I will pull those. Write it down and buy it. I should write it down and buy it. But no, that is because that is interesting though, because you're right. Like, in just the movies, like, we're just, we're given like little hints of like, there's the dark side and the light side, and it's like, that's it. It's like, but there's definitely more.
Yeah, and like, how did the Jedi Order even form? Like, what was before that? Was anything before that? Surely. Um, yeah, I just find it really, really cool. But I also kind of is slightly aggravating because you know how they make Anakin Skywalker like the center of the universe?
Yes.
In the huge, enormous universe, it's Anakin Skywalker. And I mean, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but
Spoil it.
all right.
If you haven't seen Star Wars, what do you do? I mean, why are you watching this? It's in the title of this stream. Spoil it up.
But I think, doesn't he kill one of the gods?
I mean, more or less, yeah, that's kind of what happens.
And it's like, how could you kill the god of the light side? How is that possible?
So, I've thought about that, and something I think and this is, it's all down to perception, and how you view like what happens and what you believe the prophecy to truly mean, because the prophecy of the chosen one to bring balance to the Force. Well, yeah. it the way I've kind of thought about it, and some of this comes from like my Buddhist beliefs and whatnot, is that the idea of a light side and dark side don't really make sense, because the Force just is that. It's the Force, right? There is no such thing as light side or dark side. It's just the Force exists. How you use it is then what makes it good or bad. But the idea that there's a dark side and a light side doesn't really make sense. So you could say that by breaking down this binary system, he's then bringing balance to the Force because he's getting rid of two halves and just being like, there are no halves. There's just the whole, right?
Okay.
And so it sort of works, but it also kind of falls apart a little bit because it's like, well, but there is, the quick and easier way of the dark side and whatnot, and then there's the arguably harder but more fulfilling side of the light side, and it's like, well, but that's not necessarily the Force that's driving those. That's an internal thing that's driving that. Right. You're choosing to use the Force in ways that hurts other people. I mean, it's like, like example, like Force lightning, right? Force lightning is a dark side power. Well, it's a dark side power if you use it to kill people, but if you use it to turn on a generator to power an entire village on a planet, is that still the dark side? I don't think so.
Right.
So it's another thing where it's like, it's an internal struggle in you to recognize the lightness and darkness in you, and you need to break down that binary system in yourself. That's kind of how the way I've always looked at it. So I guess like when he kills one of the gods of it, it's like he's just getting rid of the binary system. I don't know.
True, but then they the episode after that. It's like, oh yeah, that happened. We're moving on.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's something that's really interesting because the Clone Wars, especially the first like 3 seasons, I feel like they had these really good deep arcs that explore some interesting things. Next, when they're like, we're not talking about that anymore. That's yesterday. Yeah. It's like, that's over with now. It's like, wait, back up a second. But that was pretty big. It's like, nah.
Yeah, honestly, it's like, that was super cool. Too bad, kid. Yesterday's news.
Yeah, you don't matter anymore, kid. Okay, so, all right, let's say you live in the Star Wars universe. All right, and I have 2 questions. One, all right, if you were a Jedi, what color would your lightsaber be? But then, if you could be anything you want, Jedi, bounty hunter, might be, what would you want to be in the Star Wars universe? What would you want your job to be, basically?
Okay. My lightsaber would be purple.
Perfect.
Yes. My job? That could go so many ways. There's a part of me that would absolutely love to be like some slimy like mob boss that spends their time in the cantina.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just love that. But I would also probably run some spice. I'd probably be like that,
So maybe smuggler?
I couldn't imagine holding down a job like a Jedi. Like, that's a lot of commitment, man. And no attachment whatsoever. I don't think I could handle that.
It is definitely one of the more difficult parts of the Jedi way, for sure. And even that's something that comes directly from like the George pulled from like Buddhist stuff, is about like no attachments and things like that. Yeah. That's interesting.
I feel like I could see you 100% being a Jedi.
Me? I mean, I'd like to think that I could cut it.
I think you could.
No pun intended.
Wow.
My lightsaber color, for the longest time, it is always like, it's like I wanted to be blue. I'd wanted to be blue. But lately, I've been like, there's something really attractive about that blazing green lightsaber that I'm like, it's just like, there's something about the way it cuts through, like when it's like, and it could just be the way they do it on film. But there's something about the way it cuts through like a dark room, the way the blue just doesn't quite do it. There's something about that green. You're just like, I'm like, I just want that in my hands. Yeah. So I don't know. I go back and forth. I'm still gonna say blue because that's my usual go-to is a blue. Yeah. And plus blue is my favorite color. So my job actually is very specific. If I couldn't be a Jedi, right. Very specific. In episode 2, Attack of the Clones, there is a character named Dex Jetster, and he runs this diner that Obi-Wan goes to get information from. He's like this big 4-armed monster thing. Yeah. And he used to be like, I don't know, like a spy or something like that. Because Obi-Wan goes to him like, "Do you know what this is?" He's like, "Yeah, I know what the fuck this is." And but now he runs like a diner, and I'm like, I want to run the diner. Like that's what I would do. I'd be like, let me take that job.
The whole Star Wars universe, you're running the diner.
No one's coming in there starting any trouble. I feel like
True.
that's what I think I would want my job to be. Yeah, if I couldn't pick Jedi.
Comes to you for advice.
Yeah, and he's like, "What's going on, man?" I'm like, "Some shit." Do you want like a sandwich or something like that? I don't know. I don't even know what they eat.
You want a Reuben?
You want a Reuben? I can grill you up a Reuben right now.
Yeah, what do Jedi eat? Every time I see Jedi food or Star Wars food in general, it's like a bowl of slop.
Yeah, there's lots of bowls of slop. There's a lot of like sticks of food. Like I remember that in
like biting them off.
Yeah. Crap, man. It's right there. Empire Strikes Back. I remember Luke eating like this like just like stick of pretzel or some crap. And he's like, ah, and I'm like, that doesn't look good. And even Yoda's like, you shouldn't eat that. And then there's fruit. Sometimes there's fruit. Yeah, Yoda eats frogs. You know that, but like you think about like remember like when he goes to Yoda's hut and he's like, here's some soup, and I'm like, that soup is not good.
It's like mud, tadpoles.
It's mud, some tadpoles, and he like totally like, crunched up like a bay leaf in there, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, I don't think you should be eating this, man.
And Yoda's just laughing wildly.
Because Yoda's not eating that either. He's like, I'm going to make this dude eat some crap. That's all part of the Jedi training. You all learned it here first, stream.
We're going to make our own handbook and write in it.
We're going to make our own handbook. Lights About Defense. That's Jolie Bendo, Kawaguchi. That's right. Jolie Bendo knows what's up. So you'd be saberless, Clara? I don't think I'd be saberless. Even if I weren't a Jedi. Even if I weren't a Jedi, I think I'd be like, can I get a bootleg lightsaber? Just like have. And I'd probably like cut an arm off, but I would try real hard to like learn it.
Can I just have a glow stick or something?
Please? Yeah, give me something.
I'll make the noises myself.
Don't you have like training lightsabers for like kids? Like give me one of those.
Yeah.
They got to, right? Do you think they must have like a training lightsaber for like a kid?
Absolutely.
They're not giving like a 6-year-old like a lightsaber that could like lop his head off.
They just have a baton.
Yeah. They're like practice with this first kid. Hang on, I had another question and I forgot what it was. Yeah, youngling saber, that's gotta be a thing. I feel like Yoda having a saber was antithetical to his established character in Empire. I actually do agree with you to an extent. And I think that in the prequel trilogy they gave him a lightsaber, they're like, he's gotta have one. Like, I think it was more one of those things you're like, he can't not. It's funny because in Attack of the Clones, I feel like that lightsaber fight was incredibly goofy, but they fixed it and they did a much better job in Revenge of the Sith, I think. That one was more believable, I think.
Wait, which one was he fighting against Count Dooku?
That was Attack of the Clones. That's one where he's like really jumping around and very Tasmanian Devil, yeah. Yeah. Whereas when he's fighting the Emperor in Revenge of the Sith, that one seemed like much better done. Much better done.
Better done.
Yeah, much better done. That's not how you say that, but crap, what was my question that I was gonna ask you? I don't remember.
What's your favorite Star Wars game?
Ooh. So it used to be, I would say, hands down, Knights of the Old Republic. But Jedi Fallen Order is so good. It's tough. It's
amazing. It's so good.
And the combat is so much fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to give it a tie between those two. They're both so good, and the story in Fallen Order is really, really good.
Well, I still haven't beat it.
I won't ruin anything. I won't spoil anything.
I think I just have
to
do
everybody dies. Oh, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that to you.
Who was it? It was either you or Bobby who was like, oh yeah, and then Chewbacca shows up and
I don't think it was me. I think I would have remembered doing that. It could have been though. But I don't think so.
But no, Fallen Order was amazing. I love the combat. I love the storyline. I
Yeah.
love the subplot and how much history it gives you. It's amazing. I love it. My only gripe about that game is that I wish you could have better options for the thing under your poncho, like the leather thing.
Yeah, it
You know,
it did lose it did kind of fall down in the customization options for how your character looks. I
yeah,
agree.
that's my only gripe.
I also think the ponchos are kind of dumb looking. I'm like, I don't
They
want that.
are kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, he like I always have Cal look exactly the same. I'm like, I don't care about any of these other things. I just have. I think I have him wear the one that has like a blue and white stripe on it.
yeah. Okay, I like
I think I just
the
do
blue.
that.
I like the brighter ones, but yeah, there was like 30 ponchos. I'm like, this is fucking insane.
Right?
Like
There's a ton of
30
ponchos.
different color ponchos.
So
Please
many
give him something other
ponchos.
than that dirty, nasty looking leather thing he's wearing.
Right? That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Yeah, there's a lot of ponchos.
You should have had robes. That'd have been cool.
I was like waiting. I was like, are we gonna get like some? I was like, oh, we'll start out with a poncho because he was on like that, Trash Planet or whatever he was doing. And
It was.
we're gonna find some cool stuff, right? And I
Yeah.
was like, nope, you are not. You get here's 50 ponchos, and they all just have different colors. Be like, that's all there is in the galaxy is just ponchos.
Yeah,
Like, man,
honestly.
the Empire really went to shit.
For real.
Ooh, Republic Commando. Ooh, Republic Commando might be my favorite of a Star Wars shooter, Clara. It's really good. Although I do like Battlefront 2. The original Battlefront 2. I like the new one as well. Um, but yeah, Republic Commando was a lot of fun.
I've never played that one.
It's pretty good. I think
Yeah.
it's I think it's available. It's an older game, but I think it's available on the Switch maybe? Like a remaster, a re-release maybe? I'm not sure now that I think
Hmm.
about it. I might be
I have to
making that up
investigate.
actually.
A lot of things are made up. It's
That's
okay. I
true.
forgive you.
I make up most things. Um. Oh, all right. Have because I talked about this the other night. Have you read any of the book series of Star Wars books?
No, but I've literally bought like 3 ebooks.
Okay, nice. Which
I just
ones?
haven't read them. The ones you recommended to
Oh
me.
yeah. Oh, those ones. Oh, those ones are good.
Yeah, so let me look through my library, but I think I bought 2 of the Thrawn books,
Yep.
and I believe I bought a Luke Skywalker one.
Nice. Yeah, the Thrawn books are really good. Those are the ones I was talking about
Yeah.
Sunday night, last night, because today's only Monday. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
and Outcast, Star Wars
Oh yeah,
Visions,
yeah, yeah.
Return of the
Yep.
Jedi.
Yeah, Outcast. Yeah, that one is also part of a series that's pretty good. It's funny. Like I was thinking about this earlier today because I have that kind of time on my hands about how Star Wars books are interesting to me because a lot of them that are not good, I would read them and I'd be like, this just feels like fan fiction. This doesn't feel like someone actually wrote this and it was published. It feels like someone put this on their website.
Yeah.
And I don't know why there was because there's such a rich, world to pull from. I'm like, why are they so bad?
Yeah.
I don't
Did
know.
I just focus on like the wrong things or
I I don't know. No, I don't think it's they focus on the wrong things. I think that it's just I think with some of them, it's partly because because they're writing about characters that we know about. They're writing about Luke and Leia and Han, and if like they're getting the characterization a little bit wrong or they're adding something because like you only get so much in a movie, so you fill in a lot of stuff in your own head, and if it's not close to what you kind of fill in your head, you're like that's not right. And I think
yeah.
also sometimes it being like, yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Is like that's not they wouldn't do that. That's not right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, not true to the character.
Yeah, I think that's a big piece of it.
Yeah. Dang. Well, I'm still excited to read the ones that I did buy.
Those ones are
Um,
good.
yeah, I'm super excited. Mm. Do you know if they're actually gonna do the oh God, what is his name? Not Darth Sidious, but Palpatine's
Yeah, Darth Sidious.
Darth Sidious. Are they gonna do a show about him?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything. Are they?
I swear I heard something about
I mean,
they were
I would
gonna
watch
work.
that.
I would watch the hell out of
Right?
that.
I would watch that. I'm really excited for the potential Boba Fett show. I'm excited about that.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, that was amazing.
And then I know they started filming an Obi-Wan show, which I'm all about that.
I
So
know. I am. Isn't it Ewan McGregor?
yep, yep,
That's amazing. Ooh, that's so cool. And Hayden Christensen.
yeah, he's supposed to be in it too. I guess
I
probably a Force Ghost. Oh no, not a Force Ghost. The wrong time frame. He'll be Darth Vader. It's like he'll be a Force Ghost. No, wait, he won't. He's still alive.
Listen,
Still
I
alive.
was so in love with Hayden Christensen as Anakin
He's an
Skywalker.
incredibly handsome man.
He was so. I bought this like Star Wars poster book, really thin poster book,
Uh huh.
and on each photo of Anakin, I would like draw harder on his. I totally ruined the poster book, but I draw
Do you
harder
still
on it,
have
and then
those?
no, I wish I did.
Dang it.
I know, and then I'd write. This is so stupid. I can't believe I'm saying this to you.
No, tell me.
But
This is what I'm here for.
I would write. I would pretend
I'm
that
gonna
it
write
was
this down.
Padme, and I would write Padme and Anakin forever in a
That's
heart.
that is the cutest thing I've ever heard in my life. That's adorable.
Ridiculous. And then I grew up and realized he needs fucking therapy. Yeah, he's a cutie for sure.
That's so funny. I love that.
Mm. And it's not Darth Sidious, it's Darth Plagueis.
Oh, okay, okay.
And they're just
Yeah.
discussing it. It's not a legit thing.
Oh. That would. I mean, I'd watch it.
Yeah,
And I'm.
I'll watch
And so if
anything.
someone's gonna find this notebook one day, and they're gonna see how I just drew Padme and Anakin in a heart. They're gonna be like, "What the heck was this guy doing?" They're like, "Look, just go along with me, okay? Just go along with me, okay? All right. So I'll tell you, since I guess you could argue that's mildly embarrassing to share that on the internet. So I'll tell you one then. I don't know. I'm pretty open about all the embarrassing things that I've ever done in my life. Um, I mean, I definitely. So, episode one, The Phantom Menace, came out when I was in seventh grade. And I remember going to see it. I remember my mom took me out of school. That was cool.
Oh,
And I remember I had never in my life seen Natalie Portman before. And I saw her in that movie. And I remember thinking, I was like, that's my wife. Right there. I can remember that so much. Being like, that
yeah.
right there, that's my wife. And there was so in a similar way, there was no doubt in my mind that I was like, oh, I'm going to marry her. Like,
Yeah.
because when you're seventh grade, how old are you in seventh grade?
Young.
Let's
11, 12?
Is it that old? Yeah, it's probably like 11, 12, 13, 11, 12. Somewhere between the ages of 10 and 15, depending on how many years you got held back. So,
Or bumped up.
so or bumped up, that's right. Yeah, and that crush went on for a really long time, to the point where I would watch movies she was in that I didn't want to watch. Like, I remember I was dating this one girl, and she wanted to watch this movie. What was the name of this movie? Hang on, I gotta look it up. Some of you have probably seen it, and it's not a good movie. This is also the movie that I was like, oh, she's not a good actress. Hang on.
And the truth comes out.
I don't think she's a good actress. And I no longer have a crush on her either. Like, I actually find her kind of annoying now.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Because she's like the same character. She plays like the same character like in every movie. She has, and like that's why I find her annoying. Oh, okay. It's this movie called Where the Heart Is. Have you ever heard of this? So let me read you a brief synopsis of what Where the Heart Is. 17-year-old and 7 months pregnant Nova Lee Nation, played by Natalie Portman, and her boyfriend Willie Jack Pickens. She does a terrible Southern accent in this movie, I might add. Are moving from Tennessee to California. Willie Jack abandons Nova Lee at the local Walmart when she uses the restroom and buys new shoes. Then like a whole thing goes on. She like gives birth to her kid, and she names her daughter Americus. And I remember it was at this point in the movie I was like, why am I watching this? But the girl I was dating at the time wanted to watch it, and I was like, yeah, I'll watch it as Natalie Portman in it. I'm like, I'll win because this is great. As Natalie Portman in it, she doesn't know. This is gonna be fantastic. And like I'd say like 30 minutes in, I'm like, I have made a horrible mistake. Yeah.
You know, I do feel that way about Hayden Christensen. I
Yeah.
loved him, and then I watched. He was in a movie called Jumper.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm.
know that movie? Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that movie.
Yeah, not great. And
No.
then no, and I was like, it's okay. It's probably his. It's okay. I forgive him for that. But then I watched a movie. I don't remember what it's called, but he's a patient he has to have surgery and he goes under anesthesia, but the anesthesia doesn't stick. He's awake. I think it's called Awake actually.
Hmm.
And it's not good at all. And that broke my heart. I was like, wow.
Like, oh, he's no longer. Did it get to the point where it's like, oh, he's no longer attractive to me?
Yeah, it just became sad.
It just became sad. Yeah.
And now I can look back and think he's cute again, but I do remember he got married or engaged or was dating another actress, and I was so mad at the actress. Like, how dare you steal
How
the
dare you
love of
steal
my
my
life?
husband? You piece
Yeah,
of
like
garbage.
that's my husband.
You're
Like
like,
you
I
get it
will
together.
cut you.
I know, and they ended up having a baby and moving to Canada and on a
What?
farm, and I was like, that's my farm. You have my life right
That's
now.
my farm. I'm writing that down.
Mhm.
That's my farm.
That is sad. Although I will say, just sticking up for Natalie Portman here, she was fabulous in Black Swan. If you've never seen
I actually haven't seen it. I'm sure she's. Here's the thing: she's not a bad actress. I just feel like she has very limited range.
it. Okay,
That's not.
different.
And here's the thing: that's not necessarily a bad thing because, like,
Right.
I mean, like, look, and like, she's in the chat, but she knows this. But like, uh,
Natalie Portman's in the chat right
no,
now.
no. Sorry. I sometimes I don't say all the words in my head. I only say part of them, and it's like, oh, no one knows what you're talking about, you idiot. It happens a lot on this channel, actually. I was gonna say my wife is in the stream, so she already knows this, so it's okay. I'm not like revealing anything, but um, like at the top of my like celebrity like it's okay list is Scarlett Johansson, and like I also think Scarlett Johansson. I think she's a wonderful actress, but I think she also has a little bit more limited range than like some other actresses. But she knows what she's good at, and she sticks to that. Like and I think that's why it works. Whereas Natalie Portman, I'm like, I don't think you know what you're good at because it's not some of this.
Damn.
I think you think you're a better actress than you are,
Yeah.
and you're not. And I find that annoying. I find it annoying when like there's any like I find that annoying with actors too. Like it's not just because like I was attracted to her. I'm like, oh no, she ruined it. It's like it's like she's not as good as she thinks she is. It's like you need to know like your road, right? Because not everybody can do everything, you know.
That's true. But yeah, no, that's true. That's
So
fair.
I don't know. That's like how I feel about it. Again, and I think between the two of them, I think Scarlett Johansson is a much better actress. Like Lost in Translation, she like knocks it out of the park like the whole time. And everything she's in, she does a good job. But yeah, so
Yeah. This is a Natalie Portman shade throwing stream.
I don't know if I'd say it that way, but I don't know. Maybe I should clip this and email it to her and be like, "See, I was talking shit about you. Yeah, that's what you get."
Yeah.
She'd be like, "Get for what?" Be like, "For not marrying me." She'd be like, "What? What are you talking about? You
broke
insane
my
man."
heart.
And then I get like a restraining order, and I'm like, "Hang on, like she has to sign this. I have to see her to sign it." And they'll be like, "No, it's not the way it works." And I'll be like, "No, we have to be in the same room so I can make sure that she's the one that signed it and everything." And then she'll fall in love with me, and then I'll have to leave my wife. It'll be a whole thing. So maybe I shouldn't send it. Maybe I shouldn't send it to her. I don't want to leave my wife.
Yeah, for that intricate and very true point alone,
It's a
you
lot.
shouldn't do that.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. Oof, man, that'd be a lot of work on my part because she probably lives somewhere else, and I'd have to like go there and be a whole thing. And
Yeah. Yeah, I have to get your flight.
that's right. It does sound exhausting. Fly, little yum yum knows what's up. So exhausting. I had one more question about Star Wars, but I've forgotten it yet again because I'm really good at it. I should write these questions down
Yeah.
as I
You
think
wrote
of
the other
them.
questions down.
I did. Um, but I'm not good at this, so that's where we are right now.
You're great at this.
Oh, thanks. Um,
Hmm. Oh, I have a question.
okay.
Least favorite Star Wars character or
Ooh.
plotline.
Least favorite Star Wars character.
Hmm. I know
Okay.
mine.
All right, you say yours because I feel like mine's gonna might get might it's not gonna be surprising, but I think some people if they heard it they'd be like, okay. So
Like
you
controversial?
maybe a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. You tell me yours.
You tell me yours. Um, well,
C3PO. No, it's not
you
C3PO.
don't like C-3PO?
No, I love C3PO. It's not
Why is
C3PO.
that?
That's what Disco Liz said. She hates C3PO, even though she has pictures of him with his shirt off. He's
With
always
his
got it.
shirt
He's
off?
always got his shirt off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not gonna say the obvious one.
What's the obvious one?
Jar Jar.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about him.
Yeah. See, yes, Disco Liz
Yeah,
knows. I don't personally like that little bug man
little bug man.
that sells Anakin, but not the mom.
Oh,
Little angry bug man Greedo. I
Watto,
think
Watto.
Watto.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a little shit
he's
bug.
a Toydarian. Mind tricks don't work on me. Only money.
No, he's just this
Yeah,
greasy Italian uncle guy.
he is a greasy Italian uncle.
Yeah.
That's true. He is a greasy Italian uncle.
I just personally don't like him.
See, I don't feel like that. That's a good answer. I like that. So mine.
You're not gonna say Leia or anything, right?
No, I love
Remember that?
Leia. No, I love Leia. I also had a crush on Leia when I was a kid too.
You
Um,
did.
Especially in Empire Strikes Back. I thought, like, I was like, oh my god, she's beautiful. Interesting enough, I didn't like. Don't get me wrong, she looks great in the gold bikini, but like that wasn't like as a kid, that wasn't the thing that got me. I was like, no, let me see her when she's on Cloud City and she's got like the braid loops like that, and she's wearing this like red and like cream colored like dress thing. I was like, that's what's up. Like I can remember being 12 and being like, let's rewind and watch that again. Um, no, my least favorite Star Wars character is Rey. Um, and that's
What?
yeah. She is so two
I'm not even knowing
dimensional.
you right now.
Look, she's so two dimensional. Um,
How?
there's nothing interesting about. Okay, she's interesting in the Force Awakens, but after that, she's no longer interesting anymore. Like she's the same. She has no character growth. She's exactly the same at the end of the sequel trilogy she is at the beginning of it. Like there's no character growth. She never has to struggle or fail at all. She achieves and wins at everything she always does, and it's very difficult to identify with that. That's why, like in the original trilogy, that's why Luke works so well because Luke makes mistakes and he has to learn from them. Like makes a mistake when he goes to the cave, and he shouldn't have gone into the cave with his weapons. Like that was the whole point. He had to learn to control his fear without weapons and stuff. And so he has failures that we were like, you can see yourself in. But with Rey, she doesn't have any of those. So she's very woodenly two dimensional. And I'm like, she's not the most interesting character in the sequel trilogy. The most interesting character is Kylo Ren. He is dynamic. He has an actual character arc and has actual character growth. Like when they named the last movie The Rise of Skywalker, I was like, what would be really interesting, but they won't have the guts to do it, is that they should flip the script, have Rey just become full on evil, because then that'll make her interesting, and she'll have a character arc of going from good to bad, and have Kylo come back and find his way back to the light side, right?
Mm.
And then have him become good. It's like, then they both have full character arcs. And it's really interesting, and you flip the script, and it would subvert right? But they don't do that. They keep it the same. So he still gets a character arc because he still becomes good again, arguably. But she's exactly the same. So she's my least favorite character.
That is fair. You have very valid points, and I can
I
absolutely see
try.
where you're coming from.
I try.
I still think she's great, but yeah, sure.
I like what she was supposed to be, which was a another strong female character that didn't need anyone to take care of them, much like how Leia was.
Yeah.
But I felt that they then took it too far by having her never have to struggle or not having to have anything to persevere over. She's immediately good at everything, and I'm like, that's boring. It's
But she's got emotional issues. She's got abandonment issues.
I guess, but
She's
they
got
don't explore it
parents, dude.
enough.
That's hard.
They don't explore it enough though.
That's very fair, actually. Very
Like
fair.
I don't know. It's this.
And
It's
it was kind of weird how like she was so willing, like her thing with Kylo.
I didn't like that at
I
all.
was like, that's a little,
Like when they
you know.
kissed, I remember. I remember being in the movie theater and they kissed, and I was like, say what now? Like I was like, hang on, why are they
Yeah, I'm
kissing
like,
each other?
why do I have to kiss? Why do that? Like
I
you can have like a nice connecting bonding moment and you don't have to kiss.
right. I it's something I remember seeing it, and I went with. We jumped into we did. It was like jumping into a fanfic. That's a great way to describe it. I remember I'm going to go see it Christmas Eve with my wife and a student of mine because she wasn't going home for Christmas. So she spent Christmas with us, and I said we're gonna go see new Star Wars movie on Christmas Eve because we always go to the movies on Christmas Eve. That's like our Christmas Eve tradition, my wife and I.
Oh,
And so we took her with us, and I remember the next day, like we were talking about it, like while I'm like getting like Christmas lunch ready and stuff like that. And like she liked it. She's like, no, I wanted them to be together, and I was like, I guess I get that, but at the same time, I feel like, and I think I've mentioned this before on stream, but like I don't like it when it seems very pervasive in media that if a man and a woman are friends, they have to be romantically connected. And I'm like,
yeah.
that's not true though. Like you can totally just be friends and not be romantically connected to someone else. Like I consider you to be my friend. I am not romantically interested in you. I don't know if you knew that, but you know it now. But like I consider you to be my friend. And
You're breaking my heart live on stream
I
right
know
now.
it's what I do. But it's like it bothers me because it just kind of perpetuates this thing. It's like the men and women can't just be connected and be close. And I'm like, I have a lot of close female. I have more female friends than male friends.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know. So like, it really bothered me when they kissed. I was like, what are they doing kissing? They didn't need to kiss.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. It really does perpetuate that thing and yeah, it sucks. I agree. Boo.
So that always brings me to another question that is not hey Kit Kat
Hi.
that is not Star Wars related, but it made me think of something that I think would be interesting to get your opinion on because you also watch a lot of Marvel stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay, so one of my favorite things in Marvel stuff is the relationship with Cap and Bucky. Like I love that friendship. Um, and it something for me as like a guy, and I'm interested to get your perspective as a lady. That I really like it because I feel that there are not enough positive male friendships in media and film that people then don't take and turn into like, oh, well, they're secretly gay. It's like, no, but they're not though. Like, it's okay for men to be that close of friends. And again, it doesn't have to be something that's romantically linked because I think that by then doing that, that feeds into what a lot of people I think consider to be like toxic masculinity, right? I feel like it's such a positive friendship that I think by trying to turn it into something else, I think diminishes it and then just perpetuates the same thing of being like, to be that close, whether it's a man or a woman, you have to be romantically interested. It's like, no, it's all about being close and being and having brotherhood and whatnot together. And it's something that's always I don't know. It's something I think about a lot because like one of my favorite podcasts is a podcast called Two Bears One Cave, and it's these two comedians, Tom Segura and Burt Kreischer, and they're best friends. And they end every episode by saying "I love you" to each other, and I'm like I see that, and I'm like I'm jealous of that. I'm like I don't. I'm like I say I love you to my wife, that's like it, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm interested on your perspective as a lady on
Hmm.
that though.
Well, I don't speak for all ladies,
Well, no, but I
um,
mean,
but that's a very interesting point, and I'm kind of on both sides here.
okay.
Um, but I absolutely see how it can diminish having like the positive like male connection because um I think that it's this weird taboo thing. I mean, I know you see it in small towns. We're both familiar with small towns.
Oh yeah,
And so two dudes saying I love you to each other is everyone is like, whoa, backs up, you know.
yeah.
And so I think guys should say I love you to each other more. I think that should be normalized. I think it's a healthy, normal thing to do. Um, on the other side, like, get it, yo. Then Captain fucking get it.
Ah,
But I'm on, ultimately though, yes, I do see their friendship and brotherhood is a nice word that you mentioned. 100% I see that first. Um, so yeah, I never really thought about it as diminishing that though. That's very interesting. I'm glad you
well,
said that.
and I think it's specific for those two characters because it's
Mm,
pretty heavily established in in the media that they appear in, whether it's the film or comic books, that they are would be romantically and sexually interested in women. It's pretty heavily
yeah.
established. So like when fans try to what is it like ship them together, I'm like, but they're like nah, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like there are within comics characters that you could do that with, and I don't think that that is then an issue. But
What
when
about
you,
bi though? They can be bi.
I mean, no, you're absolutely right. They could be. Um, that's not something I really thought about. So that's a good point.
Mm,
But I don't know. It's something that because I feel like as someone who tries to be like because I work with a lot of students and stuff like that. As someone who tries to be a positive like male role model
mm,
and still be what I consider to be masculine and everything like that. I feel like stuff like that can lead itself into that toxic masculinity having pushback, and
yeah.
but I never thought of it the way you presented it though. So I kind of see that's the whole point of like talking to other people.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
Well, Claire raises a really great point
What's that?
about
I missed it.
we might be projecting like a sexual closeness. Like it doesn't have to be sexual
Oh
or
yeah,
necessarily
that's a good
romantic.
point. That's it.
Yeah.
See, that's another great point though. Like, right, does a kiss necessarily to be sexual? It doesn't have to be. That's a
Yeah.
good point. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah. But I can't speak for you, but for me, there's a lot of like a kissing is really ingrained with something really like sexual or
Yeah,
intimate on a scale that it's like strictly for like romantic partners. And I
yeah.
wish it wasn't that way. I wish my brain didn't automatically go to that, you know.
No, and I guess that's a very probably like our Western, society thing, especially in being that America, we were founded by Puritans.
Yeah.
So they weren't doing anything. Like if they were like, if you shook a lady's hand, they're like, "Are you two getting engaged next week?" Because you shook her hand. So I think a big part of that. I think a big part of that probably does come from that. It's like I remember there being, no, that's yeah, Lone Ranger and Tonto. In other countries, and yeah, in other countries, they are a lot more open with that stuff. They're a lot more open with a lot of things in other countries than we are, especially about romance and things like that. But I remember vividly, and folks can think what they want about him as a person. But I remember there being this. I can't remember if I read it or if I watched it in a documentary where they were interviewing Hugh Hefner, and I remember he said something very interesting that I was like, it's like I never thought of that. And he said that he said, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact quote, but he said something to the effect of that he found it disheartening that we would idolize violence in media. Like, I mean, you can see any number of amounts of people being killed and shot and stuff like that in pretty much any movie, even in children's movies. But that something like romance and sexuality is almost demonized to the point where it won't even be discussed. And I was like, that's a really
Yeah, that's a
great
great
point.
point.
Like, I'm like, that's a really great point to think about it that way.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I
You
never,
just
and I
dropped
mean,
some hefty
and
points.
I love me seeing a dude get shot up in a movie, right? Not in real life. In
Yeah.
real life, it's horrible. But I
Yeah.
mean, like, even like, I'm like, I don't watch like romantic movies like at all. I'm like, they make me uncomfortable. But I'm like, yeah, give me a spy shooting a bunch of dudes. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
That's so
and so I
interesting.
don't know. I feel like all that stuff is kind of like tied together a little bit,
Oh yeah. Our perspective on violence versus sexuality is so
Yeah.
skewed and fucked up, messed up. Sorry, I don't know if I cuss on this.
This is an adult stream.
Okay.
It's okay. All right.
Okay. Oh, you did ask me your favorite cuss word, so yeah.
I did. Yeah, I
It's
did ask you your favorite cuss word.
fucked up. Um, yeah, so interesting. And I think that's just one of many things that I'm trying to rewrite my brain and like work
Yeah.
on it. And it's hard.
It is
It is
hard, right?
hard. Yeah.
It is hard, and I think sometimes, and this is just and for everyone that sees this, whether live right now or if you happen to watch it later for some reason, and get to this part, like all these are always my own personal views and everything like that. And even then, like when I say like something's good or bad, that's my own personal point of view. Oh no, I lost my train of thought.
Oh no. It's
Oh,
okay.
it was right there, and I lost it. That's all right. It wouldn't have been that good anyway. No, wait. What were we? What did you just say? Because that made me think of it.
Retraining, rewriting your
Oh,
brain.
right. That's right. Even in like with the way things happen, things are kind of making a big shift, especially socially. With things like with using different pronouns and things like that. It is this shift of trying to retrain your brain from the way it's always been. And I don't understand why people push back against it. It's like I like someone the other day, I don't like when people will I've had people say like, oh, you're woke. I'm like, no, I'm not. Believe me, I'm not. I'm just an idiot. But I
Yeah.
believe in being respectful to other people.
Hmm.
And I think a big piece of like this reading your brain is remembering it's like it's just about like being respectful to other people. You may not completely understand it, and that's okay. You don't have to completely understand it. You just need to be respectful of what someone else wants.
Yeah.
So like I think
100%.
that's a big part of the rewriting thing is people get too caught up in like, oh, so I have to believe what they believe. It's like no one's saying that, man. You can in your own head you can believe whatever you want, but you need to show that outward respect of other people just like they should show it to you. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's like that. I don't know. Maybe the fault is in their automatic reaction to make it about them.
Yeah.
It's like pretty selfish. I mean, I'm
It
guilty of
is.
it too,
Oh, we
but
all
it's
are.
like 100% how this affects you and your being intact, and it's about you for first.
Yeah.
And I think that creates a lot of problems. Like that's a huge part of it.
No, that's a great point because there's and I'll mess up the quote, but there's a great Buddhist quote, and it's about you have to look outside the self, right? You have to remember that the idea that you are, because it's a thing that goes back to you're not the center of the universe, you're just the center of your own universe, but
Yeah.
that it's like something I like to always think about is that we're all living our own movie, or we're all living our own book, and we're all the hero of our own story. But
Yeah.
you then have to remember that everyone else is like that too. So
Mm.
you're also probably the villain of someone else's story, and you don't even know it,
Ooh, those are the
right?
thoughts that keep me up at night.
So there's someone out there who's like, I fucking hate Tiger Hollywood, and I have no idea, and I don't know what I did to them, and I'll probably never know because there are
Yeah.
people that I've met, and even to this day, I'll be like, I hate that guy. There's this guy that I worked with over 10 years ago, and every now and then I think I'd hit him with my car right now.
Honestly, though, I get so many people at work where I'm just like, you are my mortal enemy.
Yeah, right.
Use. Yeah.
And it,
100%.
and you know, and it too, it's like it ties into like when people, I think, sometimes do things that like bother us, and or they make decisions. You're like, what are you doing? And it's like, you know what? You don't know their whole book. You haven't seen their whole movie. You're just seeing like a trailer every now and then. And I
Yeah.
think that goes into that, you know, that looking outside the self thing. It's like you have to remember, like the way you see it, the way you view things. Like everyone also views things as though it's only their point of view too, and it's like
Yeah.
it can make it difficult. It's a hard thing to remember.
Yeah.
You're the biggest villain ever, Angelina. I believe it. I could see it. I could see it. I don't think so.
To say.
They say every day someone thinks about you, and you also have random people pop in your mind. That's 100% true.
That's such a weird thought though. Like I'm just so uncomfortable with people perceiving me, period. And
Hmm.
to think about people like randomly thinking about me, just make it stop.
I want
Yeah.
people to think about me all the time. I want to constantly be on
Do
everyone's.
you?
Yeah, all. I want them
Yeah.
always to think about me and be
But
like,
what if they're thinking about the dumb stuff you do?
I'm. I mean, well, it's fine. I do a lot of stuff. No, I don't really want people to do that. I'm kidding. Um, no, it's all. It's like a thing where it's like, you know, really people don't think about you as much as you think they think about you. You know,
Yeah,
it's that's a big part of it. I think.
true. I don't know. I think about people a lot though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do. I'm just straight thinking about people and I'm like,
You're like, what a dumbass.
what a dumbass. I wonder how they're doing. They're pretty all right.
They're pretty all right. I would say that 75% of my thought process is taken up by what I'm going to eat next.
Yeah.
And then the remaining 25% is broken up between thinking about a movie that I've watched, and then other people.
Yeah.
And, oh, maybe I should reply to that email. But a
Hmm.
big part of it's like, what should I eat? I think our generation is stuck between old ideas of happiness and what it's supposed to be, and how the world is completely different now. No, that's exactly right. I mean, it's it's interesting the way things have seemed to be progressing um, forward. Like we are kind of sometimes I do feel like, especially, and Callie, I don't know exactly what generation you fall into, so
Millennial.
okay, all right, I do too. I feel like our generation, we're really stuck in this end of the baby boomer generation, and then whatever they're choosing to call the next one. I just like to call them Zoomers because I think it's funny because apparently they don't like it, but I like it, and I like to make people mad. And we're kind of like this weird. Uh, yeah, I did mean well Gen X, but Gen X is like the forgotten generation. Um, because like the baby boomers still haven't given up a lot of their stuff because they all refuse to retire or die. Um, this is how it goes. Um, but we're in this weird we're stuck in this weird like limbo area of trying to move things forward, but also keep our own control of things because we're like, well, there's the next one in line, and they want all this stuff too, and it's a weird spot to be in. I feel like.
Yeah. So true. And I've really found myself feeling very old. Like I know people say that a lot, but in
How you're like 20 foot? I don't want to like
yeah.
put you on blast, so I'm not going to say anything specific, but somewhere in that range of 20.
Yes. Late 20 blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, all right, all right.
And my classes in school, the one class in person that I had, it was me and then the rest were high schoolers.
Oh,
And I would listen to them talk and say
oh
things
my
and I
god.
felt so ancient and it was bad. And I'm not gonna be like that person that's like they don't even know who so and so is, but they didn't even know who Johnny Cash was, dude.
Oh,
I know, and I know every generation is like that. Like they don't know older things or whatever, but the just their conversations. it was like I could not keep up, and I felt very old, and it's not great. It's not a great feeling.
Okay, so I will tell you, and all of chat, of course, the two instances where I felt the oldest that I've ever felt in my life. So the first time was, I remember this vividly. This was right before The Force Awakens was coming out. So 2015, which I would have been 20. Wait, no, Force Awakens didn't come out 2015. Did it? Whenever The Force Awakens came out, doesn't matter. I was like 29, 30, right? Somewhere in that range. Yeah, it was 2015? Oh, 6 years ago? So yeah, it would have been like 29. So anyway, it was because that came out in December. So this was October of 2015. And I had a job that I was going to, and we were all carpooling because it was about like 2 hours south of where we are. It was carpooling. So I was driving, and it was three other guys that I work with, and they're all much younger. Like they're all like 21 and 22 years old. And I remember I said we were all driving and we were talking about stuff, and I was like, "Oh, I'm really excited for The Force Awakens." Last time I got to see a Star Wars movie in the movie theater was when Revenge of the Sith came out. And I was like, I remember that I was in. I was still in undergrad when that came out, and one of them goes, I was in elementary school, and I immediately wanted to run us off the road into a light pole and kill us all. I felt so sad. I was like, what? What are you talking about? You were in elementary school? I was like, yeah, I was in elementary school when that came out. I was like, and then the other time I felt old is I was also at work. Now when it happens, I don't feel as old because I know that I'm old. But this was all when I was just learning that I was old. And I remember I was sitting at my desk and I was singing the theme to DuckTales, which for the uninitiated is Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, airplanes. It's a duck blur. Might solve a mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales, woo! Right? I was singing that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other guys that worked in our warehouse came in to my office, and he's like, hey, what was that? And I was like, oh, don't you remember that's the theme from DuckTales? And he goes, what's that? I was like, you never heard of DuckTales? He was like, no. And I said, oh, DuckTales, it's like, I said, all right, like Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and like Donald Duck? And he's like, yeah, kind of. And I was like, well, it was like about like Scrooge McDuck and like his nephews, and they had like adventures and stuff, and like, Scrooge McDuck always diving into his money bin and everything. He goes, I kind of know that. And he's like, what? It was a TV show. I was like, yeah. I said, like, it came on like after school back in like I remember watching it like back in like 1992. And he goes, oh, I was born in 95. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I've never seen that, man. And I was like, oh. Dang. And then I immediately wanted to stab him right in the eye. I was like, just stab him in the eye. Those were my two learning experiences of being 100%. Old.
It's a painful feeling.
Yeah, eventually you get numb to it. Like I don't even notice it anymore.
Oh. And
yeah,
the high school students.
Uh-huh.
Instead of just calling me Callie, they called me Miss Callie.
Oh,
like, you pieces of shit. Like,
ooh.
Yeah. And then they got the teacher to start calling me Miss Callie. And I was like, don't you encourage them.
Oh my God.
This is fucked up.
Oh my God. Yeah, I remember the first time someone called me Mr. my real last name. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, you can call me my first name.
Yeah.
And they're like,
anything.
Yeah, I'm like, that's my dad. That's not me. I never want anyone to call me that formally. Mine was when someone didn't know who Marilyn Manson was. Ugh. Now I'm depressed. I know. Okay, before we end, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back up. Don't say things like that. In September this year, every teenager will have been born after 9/11. Shut your cake hole, Clara.
Shut your Claire hole.
Yeah, shut your Claire hole. Here's my favorite. Throw it up there, Liz. While we bring things back up here before we end this podcast stream here. Okay. what's something that you're really looking forward to that's coming soon? It doesn't have to be a movie, it could be anything. Just something that you're looking forward to that you're really excited about.
Okay. So, after I am fully vaccinated,
Mm-hmm.
I am going to see my friend Casey in Texas.
Nice.
I'm so excited. I've already bought the ticket
Nice.
and we're going to go camping near some canyons and look at the stars and go see some bison and
That
float
sounds
down a river
awesome.
and drink beer and play music.
That
I'm
sounds
excited.
awesome. That sounds amazing. See, now that's a bring up. That's a bring up right
Mhm.
there. Hang on, let's see. When you check IDs, they only have to look for the 2 at the start of your birth year because those born in 2000 can drink this year.
Son of a bitch.
Why? Why bring us back down like that? Why did I read that? I should have just moderated, deleted it. I shouldn't have even read it. All right. Well, then I'll bring it. I'll bring it back around.
Bring it back.
Something I'm looking forward to. Oh, okay. So this. So I'm a big baseball fan. I love baseball. Chat. You all know that because I talk about baseball a lot lately because it's baseball season. And we didn't get we got a truncated season last year, only 60 games. So this year it's a full season again. So my favorite team is the Atlanta Braves. Go Braves. They're doing okay. They're at 500 on the season, so they've lost 17 and won 17. So really great year so far. But that's okay. There's still a lot of season left. But anyway, this June, I have not been to their new stadium, Truist Park. So this June, I'm taking a trip up to Atlanta, and I'm going to go see a Braves game, brand new Truist Park. And the hotel that I'm staying at is connected to Truist Park. So like even like and it's like Braves like themed and everything. It's gonna be amazing. I'm very much looking forward to it. They play the Mets and they better beat the Mets. But even if they don't, it's gonna be great because I'm gonna get to eat a ballpark hot dog. I'm gonna get to eat ballpark popcorn, ballpark soda. I mean, and because it's Atlanta, you know they got Coca-Cola up in that place.
Oh, hell yeah.
And so Mike is a Mets fan. Well, you tell Mike that we're gonna crush him. That's what we're gonna do. Crush him. Maybe depends on how we're hitting that day, because it
That's
could
so
go either
amazing.
way. Sometimes we're hitting great, sometimes we're not. And how good our pitching is, because that's also been very inconsistent this year. But that's something I'm looking forward to that I have coming up. I'm very excited about that.
Well, congratulations. That's
Thanks.
amazing.
It's
I'm very
gonna be a
happy.
good trip. Gonna be a good trip.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Cleopatra was left closer in years to us than she was the building. The Great Pyramids feel old now. That one doesn't make me feel old so much. That one I just find interesting. I'm going to Discovery Cove in June. Scuba diving, dolphin experience, unlimited food, laser. Oh, that sounds awesome. See, that's a bring up. I like bring ups. It's a good way. That's a good way to do it. Well, I don't want to keep you too long. We've been going almost 2 hours here, and that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good time.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to plug or any other last minute questions and stuff like that that you have before we send this into the sunset?
No, I don't have anything to plug. I just hope everyone has a wonderful evening, has a wonderful summer, stay safe, enjoy yourselves. Yeah, that's it. Have fun, live your life.
All right, that's great. So coming up, folks, this week, tomorrow night will be our regular Tuesday night stream. We'll be doing Breath of the Wild again because we still got to work on that 100% run. And then I talked to Disco Liz and I talked earlier today. It's looking like Friday night we will do our Tiger Talks episode 3 for our Harry Tower series. And we might do an impromptu stream Wednesday night since Friday night will be a Tiger Talks. We might do an impromptu stream Wednesday night of something. I've been thinking about doing Red Dead Redemption 2 on stream because I've been wanting to play that through again because I really like that game. Or it might be something else. I don't know. But definitely tomorrow night we'll be around. Friday night, our Good Harry Tower book series. We both have finished, or close to finishing, some of us. I finished mine. The second book's in our series. What's the second book called? Chamber of Secrets. And she's almost done with the drawing of the 3 from Dark Tower. So that'll be good. Callie, thank you so much for coming on Tiger Talks. I really appreciate it. It's always fun to talk to you. And yeah, I had a great time. I hope you had fun too.
Me too. Thank you
And
for having me. It was a
yeah, of
blast.
course, it's always great talking to you.
Yeah,
We'll have to have you back again sometime.
absolutely.
Maybe one day we can do one where we're in the same room.
I
That
know.
would be
That'd be
cool.
fun.
That would be really cool. Um, yes, Miss Beef. Breath of Ball tomorrow night. Um, Chat, thank you all as always. Under Polaris, thank you for the follow earlier. Again, if you're still in there, if you're not, that's okay. I still love you. I love everyone that's on the stream right now. More than I can possibly imagine. More, oh no, more than I can imagine it. More than you can possibly imagine. That's what I meant to say.
More than
Uh,
I can.
so, thanks for hanging out, everybody.
Think
It
about
was
how much I love you.
I know, right? I had a great time. I'll see everybody tomorrow night. Kelly, don't jump off right away. Everybody have a good night, and I will see everyone tomorrow night. Bye bye.